Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Hello. Today's video is about my hijab story. And even though I was introduced to hijab ever since I was a little girl, my mom had introduced hijab to me ever since I was like maybe 4 or 6. I didn't quite understand what the purpose of hijab was. I didn't quite understand why we needed to wear the hijab. I couldn't even tell the difference between if it was a cultural or if it was Islam. I didn't even know the difference between the two because most Somalis are Muslim, right? 99.9 of Somalis are Muslim. So it's just, I couldn't tell the difference. So, and a lot of people around me wore it. But I like to tell people, though, my actual journey started in 9th grade because that's when I began to figure out why we need to wear the hijab, the purpose of hijab, and what is the proper way of covering up. And it started with a convert sister. She was Puerto Rican, and shout out to Puerto Ricans, mashallah, I love them so much because I feel like she was the first person to kind of waking me up to Islam, waking me up, like kind of introduce Islam to me in a way. She would come up to me and my friends and would point out to us that the way we wore our hijab was not appropriate, right? Because our neck would be showing, our chest would be showing, our hair would be showing. It was just, the style at the time was just, it was just a khimar on our head, right? It was just like an African style, right? Where it's just on our head, that's it. But all of the rest of our hair was showing. It's just, I don't even know what you call it, but you can't call that hijab, right? So she would come up to us and express that that's not the proper way to wear hijab, and she would tell us what is the appropriate way, and she would express how it angers her to see us dressed in such a way because we were, again, not properly dressed, right? And the reason why it angered her was because she had to leave a whole, her lifestyle, things she'd known all her life, that she had to leave behind because it was, a haram lifestyle, right? And it was extremely difficult for her, and she made that jump, she made that switch, and she have to see us who are born Muslim and we're born into the religion, and we're just, it's not even that important to us, right? But what she really didn't know was most Muslims, born Muslims, don't know about their religion. We don't know anything other than what we're taught. We don't know nothing. I swear that I didn't even know who Allah was. I knew He was God, but other than that, I didn't know that He was Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. I didn't know He was wise, just, and all these great qualities that Allah have. I had no idea, right? But she will tell that to me, and although a lot of the things that she was saying, my heart responded to that, like loved what she was saying. However, I didn't want to change my hijab style because that was the style then. I felt so beautiful. Everybody else was doing it, and I also had huge misconception about Islam. I thought it was just very, very boring way of living, right? I'm not saying that I lived the haram lifestyle, but I'm just saying I was raised that I can't ride a bicycle because I might hurt my private part, and it's unladylike. I can't go swimming because it's my body shape will be showing, and it's unladylike to do so, and I can't go camping because women belong in the house, and or something like that. So I always thought that the deen was just boring because everything was haram. Like everything was haram. And so, like I said, although what she was saying kind of touched my heart, and she kind of introduced certain things about Islam to me, but at the same time, what the misconceptions that I had about Islam was just so strong at the time that I just saw it was just a boring thing, and I didn't want to change my style. But when Allah wants guidance for you, when Allah wants you to learn about His deen, it's going to happen. The next thing that have happened was a non-Muslim classmate would ask me about my khimar. I wouldn't even call it even a hijab, because hijab is full covering, right? So she would ask me, she would say, hey, what is that thing on your head? And I would tell her, oh, it's, my himar, it's my hijab. And she would say, oh, but why do you wear that? And I, would respond to her that it's just cultural, it's my culture, and that's just what we do. And then, she would push back and say, but what is the meaning behind that? What does it signify? What do you want people to know when you put that thing on? And I had no answer, and I never even thought about it. I never even, like I said, hijab was just kind of was just born into it, right? It's just what people do, right? And that was the beginning of my journey. So even though I wore hijab since I was a little girl, I tell people that my journey started in 9th grade, because that's when I learned about the hijab. That's when I learned about Islam. And anyways, her constantly questioning me about the hijab and kind of she was waiting for an answer. Like, she was genuinely waiting for an answer the following day. And the day after that, I felt, like I have to find an answer for her. And I got curious as well. So I went to my aunt, who knew the deen much more than anybody I knew at the time. And she talked about that the hijab is, is a sign that we are believers, that it's an ayah in the Quran, that we need to, cover ourselves with loose clothes. We need to cover our chest, we need to cover our neck, we need to appear a Muslim. Like, that's what Muslims are, like that's what Muslim woman is to be modest, and Allah loves those who are very modest. And I love that, right? But what I loved it even more was she talked about Allah, because like I said, I did not know who Allah was, other than the fact that He was our creator. She talked about His qualities. She corrected a lot of misconceptions that I had about the deen, and she tells me it's not wrong to go camping, it's not wrong to sleep over a friend's house, it's not wrong to swim, and in fact that is a must, that you need to learn to swim, you need to learn how to ride a horse, and so many things that she have corrected for me. I began to fall in love with the deen. Every single day, wallahi, every single day for I think 3 to 4 months, I would go to her house, and I'm serious, like every single day I would go to her house, and we would have some tea, we would have some sweets, and we just talk about Islam. That's it. And I just, mashallah, may Allah reward my aunt, may Allah reward the Puerto Rican convert sister, may Allah reward the non-Muslim who kind of questioned me about my religion and hijab, because that's where my journey actually began. And alhamdulillah, and now I am niqabi, which this is something I've never even imagined in my life. And my journey still continues, because I do feel like I need to still, I don't know, cover up more. I don't know what the journey is still, it continues somehow. I don't know. But the takeaway, what I want you to take away from this video is that the hijab means so much to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's an ayah from Allah. It's what really, it really protects us. It really dignifies us. And also, the other takeaway is that a lot of Muslims do not know about their deen. A lot of Muslims do not know what Islam is, or what it stands for, what the hijab is and what it stands for. We're just sort of born into their religion, and we have no clue what it is. But just like people who convert to Islam have, pick Islam, and they have a journey where they find about Islam, and they have to make that choice. We also, as Muslims, have that moment as well. Like, we need to pick. We will be given that choice where we have to either pick Islam or not pick it, right? So my moment was when I was in the 9th grade, and the other thing I forgot, which I wanted to mention here, was I came back, a few weeks later, and I really wanted to change. So I put out some challenge to a friend of mine, and I said, hey, listen, why don't we just just cover up, like just cover our chest and our neck and our hair for 1 week and see how that is. And if we don't like it, you can always just go back to our old ways, right? But let's just try. And alhamdulillah, for me and for her, we have continued we've continued until now, and that was years ago, more than 10 years ago. So alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah for that. But yeah, that is my story and that is my journey, and I hope you find some inspiration from this video. Inshallah, I'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum. Take care.